Hi YouTube, this is Darkon633. I'm back with another Star Wars review. This is where we're going to take a look at the final figure of this particular wave, and that is the Tusken Raider. Now, the Tusken Raider actually was released somewhat coinciding with another release, and that is his release in the 40th anniversary 6-inch card, but I've yet to see even that wave in general. It's been really hard to track down any of those figures at this time. But it's still nice to actually get a Tusken Raider, and they actually released different options to get these characters so that people who couldn't get one release could try and get the other version. Anyways, we're going to take a look at the box. The box is in the standard 6-inch scale. It has Tusken Raider written there. It has a picture of the Tusken Raider's head there. Shows that it's number 41 on the releases and has a bio on the back as normal. Now, surprisingly, this figure actually turned out a lot better than I anticipated. Even though it does have the soft goods design and it can look a little messy if you play around with it in some ways, I think Hasbro did a fantastic job in kind of giving it this old tattered design, and I think it worked out really nicely for this figure. Normally, soft goods can sometimes make the figure look really strange and awkward, but for the Tusken Raider, Hasbro did a really nice job, in my opinion, to actually capture the likeness of the character. It does have this really nice sculpted head, along with a lot of these little details here and there. None of these pieces are removable, like this little piece around its neck is not removable and so on, but it's nice to even just see the design in the figure itself. Articulation-wise, the head is on a ball joint, and unlike the other couple of figures that we looked at, he doesn't have any real restrictions, and he can look up and down really nicely, and left and right, and so on. We're actually going to detach this, since we're actually just going to take the Gabby stick away, and then take a look at the figure more closely. Articulation-wise, otherwise, he does have the same ball-jointed shoulders, same joints at the elbows, same hinged wrists, good range of movement in the waist. Our moves in the hips, even though this is once again that softer, rubbery kind of plastic, it doesn't really hinder it left and right, but it does kind of cause problems once again with the whole style moving forward. He does have double joints at the knees, swivels at the thighs, and fully jointed ankles. So it's nice that we actually have a universal type of joints for the 6 inches. And most of the figures pretty much all have the same type of articulation. So you do have a lot of choices to put into poses. As mentioned earlier, we're going to take a look at the stick more closely. It's actually really nice what Hasbro did for this release, since some of the accessories actually revolve around the stick in general. This is just the back end of the stick, and shown earlier, this piece was attached. One thing I don't like about it is that the standard attachment doesn't like to stay on very well. It does like to pop off quite a bit, and I don't really like that at all. Seems like the other attachments stay on much better. And going with that, here is the second version of the attachment. Looks like this, and as you can see, it does have a much better grip compared to the other attachment, but it's nice that we actually have a few options here and there. Here's the third option, which is the most different in color, and it seems to have the best grip of mine, so that's really nice. The only other accessory the figure includes is this rifle, which is nice that the figure includes. It doesn't really hold on to it very well, from what I could tell. I haven't really found a way to kind of allow him to hold it on kind of correctly, since the way that the design of the rifle, since they didn't really use these weapons too much and they used mostly the sticks, it's kind of hard to tell exactly how they held on to this. But you pretty much get the idea. We're just going to try and slide it in one of his hands just to get a little bit of a look of how it can look holding it. So it's having a little bit of a problem, but you can place it in his hand if you wished. And as a comparison, we actually will have a look at the 3 3/4 inch figure, which I'll look at just in a little bit. But first, we're going to reattach the stick into his hand, so we can have a comparison with his very signature pose from A New Hope. You can actually use this in displays for the prequel trilogy as well if you wish, since they actually showed up in the prequel trilogy. But this figure is mostly based on his A New Hope appearance. So, well, their A New Hope appearance, since they are just army builders as well. Trying to reattach stick on his other hand. Be a little bit of a problem, but once you do, it stays in nicely. So just gonna quickly try and get this in. There we go. It's easy to just slide it in. So we're gonna reattach the ends here. try to get this together. So there we go. So now here is the 6-inch release next to his 3 3/4-inch release. You can see it's very close, but unlike some of the other releases, the 3 3/4-inch is quite different because of the way that the material of the actual cloak on the figure is quite different. It's also a different shade. I do like the 6-inch version a little better since it's a lot more accurate, since this one seems a little bit too clean and bright to really match the characters. So, I recommend trying to track down the 6-inch, either if you want to get the 40th anniversary or the 6-inch standard Black Series boxes. So I got this at BBTS along with the other figures in the wave, and I highly recommend tracking one of these down. Anyways, please comment, subscribe, and check out Hero Club and Hirotaku. Also check my Twitter, Darkon633, and don't forget to check down the other channels down below. Please check the little bell at the bottom of the screen, and it's an honor to see my content go up as soon as possible. I'm back with more Star Wars reviews, but for now, I'll be seeing you later, YouTube. Bye.